You guys know how there's certain situations in life that you can recall that if had it been a little bit different, your life would be in another position, whether it be really great or worse. Well, today I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about situations that I did and things that I did that held me back that I want to help you so you don't make these mistakes. If you avoid these mistakes, you're going to win and win faster in life, which is what we all want. We're all looking to get quick wins and we're all looking to grow and we're all looking to stay motivated and help as well. Well, it's easy, very easy to start making mistakes when you start winning and thinking you know it all. That's what happens when you start winning little by little, especially when you're starting off. You get overconfident. There's little things that you start doing that you weren't doing before, and it holds you back. Prime example, when I started making money, good money, when I was starting to make 20, 30, $40,000 a month, I was 24, 25, 26 years old. And I thought I was the king of the world. I thought nothing was going to stop me. I thought I could take over, right? And I started acting a little bit different. Instead of waking up early in the morning, I was waking up a little bit later. I was starting to travel and spend money traveling that I didn't spend before because I didn't have it and I couldn't afford it. I was giving my peers, I was giving my parents expensive stuff, which I don't regret. But my behavior did change. And that's what I'm trying to point out. Your behavior starts changing when you start making money and when you start making good money that you weren't used to making before. So there's mistakes to avoid and there's things to learn from. And I personally believe there's certain mistakes that you have to make in order to grow. But had I not made these mistakes, I promise you one thing. I'd probably be worth over 30, 40, $50 million because these mistakes held me back, but I learned from them. So if you're an individual who's in the up and coming, you have a business, you're growing, you're starting to make good money, you're starting to make 20, 30, or even $15,000 more than you're used to making, make sure you don't fall for the trap of complacency and thinking you're the best. And make sure you avoid these three key mistakes that I made on my way up that held me back. Number one, I just touched upon it a little bit, and it's changing your lifestyle. Start spending more money on things you didn't spend before. Very easy to do because you're seeing more money in your bank account. And typically, when you're not used to seeing this type of money in your bank account, it's easy to spend it because you don't have the financial management, the discipline to hold on to it and multiply it. And out of the excitement at first, you start buying things. You start increasing your expenses. You buy a nicer car. You live in a nicer place. You start taking your girlfriend and friends out to nicer dinners. Little things that you start doing differently that you weren't doing before that can affect you in the long run 5 years from now. Because something that most of us don't realize is that past results don't determine future results. And past economies don't determine future economies. And what do I mean by that? When I started making great money, I was spending a decent amount of money, but I thought I was investing my money correctly as well. And truth be told, I wasn't necessarily doing that because I was making so much money that I was starting to put money into what we call now shit coins, which they all fell to shit. And I learned my lesson. But I did have my core investments in good stocks like Apple. I had my real estate and I had my Bitcoin, which I'm a big believer in. To talk about that another day. But at the same time, I was getting creative and I was getting riskier because I was making good money and I saw my all my investments go up that I started buying shit coins. I started listening to friends that I saw were making money with the shit coins and I so thought that they knew what they were doing and I started putting money into the shit coins. Truth be told, I probably lost $200,000-$300,000 alone with these shit coins because at the time I perceived that they were going to go up and nothing was going to happen and I could just win, win, win and make all the money in the world. And then when all the crypto went to shit, I lost my money. I wasn't in a tight spot, but it put me against the wall a bit because I wasn't expecting to lose all that money. So luckily for me, and because of the person I am, I had money saved aside. I had my diversified investments. Did it hurt? Yes. Did it kill me? No. Was there a lesson to be learned? Without a doubt. And I did learn that lesson. Now, you see what I'm saying here? How easy it is to, as you're making money, to start spending money and putting money where you don't even know where it's going because you're just hoping it goes up because everything's going up. Because at that time, the economy was just going up 3, 4 years ago when they were printing money unstoppably. Everything was going up. So everybody looked like genius because they were making money and everybody was making money. So they were putting money in assets that weren't making them really money in the future. And then they lost that money. So that happened to me. And it goes to show you how when you start making money, it's very easy to start spending money and not really considering where you're spending or putting that money because you have a lot of it. And then when shit hits the fan, like it does, like it's been told it's going to happen now for the past 3 years, even though the economy's gone down, you get hurt. Had I not had savings, had I spent my money that I had earned in a hard way over the past 7 years and other things and just had those investments, I wouldn't be in the position I am right now. I'd probably be back in square one. And it happens to a lot of people. I made decisions that benefited me, and luckily it didn't hurt me completely and it didn't take me back to square one, but it did put me back a bit. But I see a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people, and I think we've all seen stories of people that lose it all because they're reckless, they're degenerates, they're not being smart and strategic with their investments. So, mistake number one to avoid is control your emotions, control your spending, stay even grounded. Sure, take care of yourself and give yourself gifts if you're doing well. I'm not saying no, reward yourself, but in a smart, strategic way that you're not jeopardizing your future because of it. You're not buying a $2 million home when your income is $1 million a year. You get what I'm saying? Where if something goes south, you lose it all. Be strategic. Increase your lifestyle, sure, but do it strategically. Don't do it all at once because that could hurt you in the long run. So number one, avoid the trap of luxury, avoid the trap of spending a lot of money. Now, number two is more business related. Number two is you don't have to do it all yourself. And I speak from experience. Somebody that I learned this probably 2 to 3 years ago, and I still struggle with it. The fact that you don't have to do it all yourself. You really don't have to do everything yourself. You can start hiring people that are smarter than you to start doing these things. And if you're starting off, if you're a one-man show or a two-man show, how you typically start off, it's not hard to get to 7 figures. Now, to get to 8 figures, that's when you need a team and you need to know how to lead and you need to know how to delegate. So it's very important that you don't stay stuck in this scarcity mindset that it's all mine and I'm the only one that knows how to do this correctly and they're going to mess it up. They are going to mess it up, but that's the way you grow. They mess it up and you teach them. So if you're starting off, I got a great tip for you. Write down all the things you do on a day-to-day basis in your business. Everything you do. Wake up, I send emails, I look at my team, I look at my content calendar, I call 30 people. Do everything and write it down. Next to it, put a level of importance to it. High, medium, low. And then following that, put the time it takes to do each task. This is how you start creating SOPs, standard operating procedures, which are important for any business. But you start doing this and you start analyzing what you really need to do. And you ask yourself, out of these tasks, which move the needle the most? Which makes me the most money? And those are the tasks that you should be focusing on. Those top 2-3 tasks are the ones that you should be focusing on. The remainder, you can start hiring out. Virtual assistants or assistants in the United States, you name it. So you can save time, focus on what really makes you money, and double down on that so the bottom line of your business and the revenue grows and your time gets liberated from these tasks that shouldn't be done by the CEO. At first, yeah, the CEO does it when he's starting off. When you're starting to make money and things are starting to grow, that's when you start delegating and hiring people out. And they're going to mess it up. You're going to have to train them correctly. You're going to have to go through the process of learning how to train people, learning how to communicate with people, learning how to motivate people, learning what buttons to touch and what buttons not to touch, which is in itself a procedure and a process in itself. It took me a while. I lost a lot of people, a lot of employees, a lot of assistants because of my personality, because I didn't know how to train. And that's just a part of growth. I'll put it into perspective. When I started off, I lost probably like 8 to 9 virtual assistants because I'm very demanding and I expect things to be done the right way. Now, I did make the mistake of assuming that they were going to do the things the right way without me teaching them because I thought they were trained. And that's a fault of mine. At the time, I didn't see it that way. I thought it was their fault. But fast forward to now that I'm more mature in my business and now that I've been doing this for longer, I now realize that you got to train them like they're babies, and all the responsibility falls on whoever's running the business. If something's not working out, it's your fault, the owner's fault, the CEO, and you got to take responsibility. That's key. If you don't, then your employees know that and they're not going to respect you, and then things start deteriorating. So it's very important to know that you don't have to do it all yourself. There's no I in team. Apple wasn't built by one person. Microsoft wasn't built by one person. LeBron James has teammates and he wins because of his team, not because of who he is only. If it was just by himself, he would not be LeBron James. I think you can agree with that too. So it's very important to know that you don't have to do it all yourself. And when you start making money, don't make mistake number one of spending too much money and thinking that nothing's going to change and you're always going to be making that money, right? And mistake number three to avoid is to think that their competition is not going to beat you, or there's going to be no competition ever. And let me put this into perspective. When you're starting off, let's say you're one of the new ones to the business, or you're trying something out new that's standing out and it's working and it's making you a lot of money. The ads are clicking, the clients are coming in, you're making money. Do you not think there's some person out there that's hungry, that's going to mimic your business and try to make it better? Do you not think that? Because they will. Let's say you have a service that's only you can do. They're going to try to learn how to do it and make it better than you. And it's very important for you to have the knowledge that you're the best in the business at doing things, because that gives you confidence, belief, which is important. But with that said, don't get so overconfident that you're not innovating and you're not improving your systems, because the competition is coming and they're going to beat your ass if you don't stay innovating and growing. And that's what happens with all these businesses that go down after a long time. They don't think the competition is coming because they're so far ahead. And then things start happening in the environment, the economy, and they catch up, they get slapped in the face, and they're gone. Blockbuster, prime example. Netflix offered Blockbuster to buy them out, and Blockbuster said no, because they thought they were set. And now look where Blockbuster is, and look where Netflix is. Prime example. So don't get complacent. Don't think that because you're winning right now and you're the number one in your industry, you're going to stay number one doing what you're doing. You're going to have to innovate. You're going to have to switch things up, and you're going to have to continue growing. These three mistakes, if you avoid them, if you try your hardest to avoid them, you're going to succeed faster and win for longer. It's very important to follow these steps, to follow these rules that I talk about a lot, and especially to avoid these mistakes. I think if you avoid these mistakes and you get at least one nugget from each episode of mine, your life is going to improve significantly. I promise that. Now, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. These are mistakes to avoid are key, so please avoid them. If you guys enjoyed the show, please share the show. As you guys know, I don't run ads on this ever, nor do I plan on it, because I find it annoying. So if you found some value on this, if you feel like somebody should hear this or needs to listen to this, share it with them. That's how value exchange works. If you didn't find it valuable, then don't share it. And thank you for catching to the show for so long. Now, with that said, guys, I hope you guys continue learning from this episode. I hope I can continue inspiring you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.